friendly with us, and they helped us tremendously. But that balloon is coming due, which is not a surprise. It's now coming due. And traditional financing with loans is not what it once was. In terms of the appraisal of real estate, our property values are not what they were 3 or 4 years ago. And so with that said, Helen Keller said is, one door closes, people stand at that door trying to get it open when another door behind you has opened and you're busy looking at the closed door. Figure out what we were going to do about this situation because the land will not appraise, we don't think, at what it was. And the bank has sent us a letter and says it's time for you guys to return to your full mortgage principal payment. They had given us a break the last couple of years, starting in the new year. And so it just lit the fire under us saying this is time to do something. And with that said, the door may have closed, but the window opened up, or another door opened up, and there's a wonderful, very real possibility that's available to us. And it is, there is a company that has been around 99 years, and they create public bond offerings for schools and churches. And this particular company called Ziegler, they're out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They're Packer fans, obviously. And they have done the bonds for Rick Warren's Saddleback Church up in the Laguna area. They have done it for our home office in Golden, Colorado, which is outside of Denver. They've done it for the Mile High Church, which is, they just built a $7 million sanctuary. They have done it for, just last year, for the Scottsdale Church, Michelle Madrano of Religious Science. So our movement is familiar with this particular group. Now, what is required of us, and also what is different about the bonds as opposed to a traditional loan, is they base the value for the bonds on what you have on the books, not on an appraisal of the land. So if what is in your books meets their loan-to-value ratio of 75% to 25%, which is kind of a standard thing, on your books, then you are eligible to proceed forward. And we are there with them. We're close, but we are there on our books. And they've taken a look, and they say, you know what, it does meet that criteria. One of the values of going with bonds over a commercial loan is commercial loans have balloons and you can never fully pay them off. That's what commercial loans are. That's what banks do, and that's how they make their money. They continue to refinance it. As you get past the initial interest, it's time to redo it. The bonds will give us, like a house mortgage, a 25-year mortgage. At the end of 25 years, it will be paid off. And yeah, that would be fabulous, particularly for the next generation. No. But also the value here that's different with bonds is, let's say somebody leaves a bequest to Seaside, or just happens to give us $500,000 or $1 million. You can buy back your bonds. When you buy back your bonds, your mortgage payment begins to shrink in proportion to how many bonds you have bought back. Entirely different than a traditional mortgage. So it's a fabulous that kind of way. Now, what needs to happen to be eligible for the bonds is where the stretch for Seaside comes in. And so what that is, or what it requires, is a 10% of income above expenses, which Seaside somehow every year meets our expenses by the grace of God, by your generosity. Somehow we always seem to make our expenses and without much left over. So what is required to be eligible to take the next step towards the bonds is to have a 10%, or what is about $100,000 revenue or income above expenses into Seaside. And to have that, and we'll set that aside. And so with that said, I was hoping at this meeting, because we've been asking some very generous supporters of Seaside for their help, I was going to be able to stand up. And you know what, guys? We've got that $100,000 in the bank. We're going to focus in on our annual prosperity program that starts in 2 weeks, and that's also important. We've got to show the upward trend of pledges here. But where we are with the income thus far of the $100,000, and the $100,000 is like the entry level. I mean, it'd be better and more comfortable if we were above the $100,000, but the $100,000 will get us there. And we are between $70,000 and $80,000 of income and pledges towards that $100,000 thus far. That is very exciting. It is fabulous. It is absolutely incredible. You have some very generous members of our family and our community, and my heart goes out with that. And we have talked to many of you, and if I haven't spoken to you, and you are in a place that can assist us to make that last $20,000 to $25,000 to get us to that 100,000, please talk to me. I'd love to take you out to lunch, breakfast, whatever it is that you want from me, I am there, and would love to share this conversation with you in a more extended kind of way. And so with that, once we receive that percentage ratio, which we are getting very close to, so I ask you for your prayers. Anybody that can assist us, please let me know. What is then the next step is we need a 3-year outside audit of 2010 and 2011. They're not like the full extensive audit. It is the solid review of the books and stuff. So the 2011 number is absolutely correct for the 2012 audit. We have found a firm that has worked with the Ziegler Company that we may go with just because they are familiar with what is required for this. But what happens is they do the 3-year audit, and we'll probably start in the fall to get 2010 and 2011, and then come January, we will work on closing the books as quickly as possible so we can get that very full audit. And we trust by the end of January, we will have all the information ready for Ziegler to take a look and give us the thumbs up that they will present the offering. As soon as Ziegler says yes, that they will take the package, they say it takes about 45 days to meet all the federal regulations to package a public bond offering. But they have, I guess they're brokers, like 1,000 of them across the country, that they are confident will sell them. They said that as soon as they accept it and it goes on the offering, they guarantee that in 3 days they will have the money that Seaside is going after. On the 4th day, they will go ahead and write the check. Whether they're all sold or not, they're sure that it will be sold. So what we will be receiving from them is the loan or bonds for $2.8 million, which is what will be owed on our community here. That will include all the financing costs and the insurance. And with that, what will happen immediately is our monthly mortgage payment, which is presently, will at least come January, will be around $22,000 a month, which is not exorbitant for what it is we have. It's a fair value, but all of a sudden it will drop down several $1,000s. So our monthly payment instantly goes lower. We will then have it amortized over 25 years. They even said they'll set up the first year or two for us interest only, so it will go down significantly. So everything is in motion for this to work. We still need a little help and support, and if you can help us out, please talk to me. And I'd love to do that with you. Basically what we're doing is working on saving our home, our Seaside home, our campus, is what we're in the process of, and we need your support. If not in the 100,000, when we go into our annual prosperity program, which you'll probably hear some more about from Bill and Trudy in a little bit, we need your intention to be known for 2013, because that will also be an important point. What they're looking for are upward trends. What we have to show is the upward trend in contributions, which will be over $100,000 from the previous year. What we need to show in the upward trend is the amount of families that participate in their intention for the upcoming year, which is about 250 families from last year. So that is the biggest priority moving us right now. But with that, we haven't lost sight as to what's coming up. I mean, we've got so much excitement coming up for our prosperity program. We've got Mark Victor Hansen coming in to speak to us. We have a big harvest festival that's coming at the end to celebrate the success of Seaside. We have all the ministers giving free Thursday night lectures and classes with Reverend Fran playing music going on here. We're going to have testimonials. We're going to have little Ramon's finally going to get baptized on a Sunday morning. Bless that kid. And it's like... And so there's just so much good that is happening here. And so what I want to do is answer any of your questions that you might have of me or finances of Reverend Tammy. And then I'm going to turn it over to your board president, and she'll take it on and share with you the feedback that we've been getting, the initiatives from the surveys and those kinds of things. But like I said, the top priority of your board at this time is to handle this mortgage thing. And it's like eventually you got to pay the piper. The time has come. The balloon is, after all these years, we got to deal with it, and that's what we're doing. And the door is open, and the way is made possible. With your help and with your support, we are able to step through that successfully and keep moving with the great ministries and missions that we've got here, which is to serve our community, to be here for each other, to make a difference in people's lives, to hear the changes that are going on. It's just very exciting. So, got a question? Yes, Pam.
Knowing absolutely that 125,000 comes in, great. What happens to that 125,000 once Ziegler says yes, the bond has been floated, we have our monthly mortgage payment? What happens to that 125,000?
And so our desire, intention, and dream is to have a savings account with that kind of amount in it. Our intention is to go back to being able to contribute to that even beyond that. Because what we know is the financial flow of a church, as well, which includes Seaside, is you've got your peak seasons and your thinner seasons. And so by the grace of God, we made it through our summer here with some wonderful support of individuals. But it would be nice to be able to tap into our own, and then in the fall, when things get healthy again, to be able to put that back. It will help give us a sense of security, and that is the high intention. If it's needed, we will have it. We will have comfort, and that's what we're planning to do with the extra that comes in, and hold on to it. So that is what the dream is. Yes, Roy.
The mortgage payment.
Yes.
Presently, is interest only.
Yes.
The mortgage payment after March
It
will be principal and interest.
Yes. So we're going to. Well, you want me to give you those numbers?
How much more?
Okay, so we're presently right around $14,000 a month of interest only. It will go to 21.7, and I'm going to give you these numbers because I actually got them for you, you in mind. So I'm going to give those to you. With the new payment, interest and principal, it will be probably just below $18,000, 17, high end of 17. But there's the option. They told us that we could set up the first year or two with interest only. It just gets amortized over the 25 years, so that 17 will bump up. So what I have here are the exact formulas that I will give you on how they came up with the 100,000 and what our exact payments are at this point, because I so appreciate you keeping us right on the exact expression of numbers. Hey, how's it going?
Am I to understand this mortgage is for this property and the property behind?
That is correct.
Okay. What are the ramifications of selling a portion of the property behind?
Well, one, we could take a look at doing that. They're presently wrapped up into one mortgage payment. When Southwest Bank did it, they just leveraged the value of this place as down payment for over there, and they wrapped the two together. So we have in here our build-out loan, our property loan, and that. And so one could go through that process and do it. It's not the intention, but I want you to know that it has been strongly looked at as a possibility if the need be to do that.
And what is that property worth back there?
Well, we paid more than $1.3 million for it. Acres in this neighborhood, I don't know if they're still appraising at $1 million, but that's kind of what we hold the vision is that acres are $1 million. And so it could be that.
Christine, can I answer that a little bit too? Currently, because a couple of years back we discussed the possibility if we needed to sell that, but to do that, because the loans are together, we would have to go qualify for a new loan even on this property alone. We'd have to go shopping in the commercial market for a new loan. As if we go with the bond company, if all works out well there, if for any reason we decide to sell that back property and we earn $1 million, we just give that to this mortgage. We do not have to requalify. We don't have to go through anything, which currently the rate they're offering is 5.88 for 25 years, which is pretty good, extremely good for commercial. But then we can just pay it up and our payment goes down here. Unlike traditional mortgages, if you pay down your mortgage, your payment stays the same for the whole 30 years you own it. but not in the bond thing. So it does offer a tremendous amount of flexibility down the road if for any reason somebody wants to give us something that's enticing for the back.
Also, Tammy, just to add, the property is also an income-producing revenue line. Several revenue lines come from that property that would help support the church as a whole.
The Montessori school, I don't know if you all know it yet, but the Montessori school up there that operates Monday through Friday has 50 students in it. We have a full-blown school that's operating there, and it is absolutely wonderful having the children and the big space and playing in the playground and all, so it's doing well.
With an annual income of what?
About 55,000 for just the Montessori school, and they only rent it from us from 8 to 4 Monday through Friday. So we have the ability to rent that and do for any time that's not 8 to 4 Monday through Friday. So that's really great. It's a beautiful win-win situation.
Knowing that it's hard to get 5.8% interest from any of our savings account, have you considered going directly to the people and giving them a rate of return on their money?
Well, that is an option that they've offered. They have actually offered it, if we want, we can offer it to the people here. They will take care of the legality of making sure it is safe. It also saves us like a 2.5% of the financing fee that their brokers would end up getting. So yes, we can let this community know when it's been packaged and put together, and they have said that we have first dibs at it. And that would be very good. I like that idea. But I also want us to realize it's not dependent upon us having to come up with that. But that would be very, very. What also there's very, very beneficial about it is then we need less of the public offering to be done. So the ratio becomes better for us too. Yes?
I figured out how much every member would have to give to meet your goal.
Of the 100,000 or the 2.8 of what do I mean? 2.8 million is the vision I have got. So that works out to 100,000 each. No.
You have 80,000 now, right?
70 to 80, yes.
Okay, so you need 20 more.
Yes.
And so how much would every member have to give?
Okay, so 100 people at $1,000 is 100,000. All right. So we can back down from there. What we have noticed is that there's about 20% of the community is the strongest financial carriers of our community. And so there's, I don't really know who's in what position, but what I recognize is there's about 20% of our regular, we have about 400 people that attend on a regular basis. So if that 20% who might be in a position to help out, somebody got mad, I'm trying to do it in my head.
It's about 4,700.
80 people.
You're saying 4,700?
For 600 divided into 2.8, you did it like that, use 600.
You know what, we can sit down with a calculator and figure it out. Yes?
I divided 2.8 million.
I beg your pardon?
I divided 2.8 million, if I did it right.
Okay.
By 320, which is 20% less than 400, am I right?
Yeah.
I got 8,750.
I don't know if that's quite right. That's good. Okay. So we're saying 80 people. Well, I'm asking people, look within your heart and to give from the fullness. That is good for us to go beyond the bottom line entry of the 100,000. So, so. Yes?
It might be worth mentioning that the ministers and a lot of the practitioners and people that are here all the time have already participated in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Your board and development team are the ones that step forward with the first $35,000 to seed it. So when we started going out, it has since doubled because of their consciousness and the possibilities that are there. So, yes.
Does this mean if they go with the bonds
to the general public, that after 22 years or 25 years, there's payment principal and interest, no more interest only stuff?
Yes, yeah, that's it. So. Mm-hmm. The interest, the bonds are interest and principal. Yeah. 5.88 is what the interest is and principal. So at the end of 25 years, you will receive your principal and your interest back. We will own it free and clear. We are good. Anybody else? Okay, I'm available. Call me. You know, the number's right there on the front and the back and inside your Sunday program and inside Seaside. So, okay. Thank you for and hold us in prayer. I mean, this is an adventure. We are in the midst of it. We just, in truth, has just started this conversation in a deep. We were talking to the bond company a year ago because we're looking down the road. And so, we've had it. We received a letter from the bank, which really prompted us to say this is the year that we are moving forward. And so, really, within the last month or 6 weeks, we have moved forward with this with a strong intention. And so, this is we're together. You're on the ground floor of the conversation. We're going to keep you posted. Like I said, I was hoping I'd stand up here and say, that we've got the bond part handled. But it will come out, I'm sure, within our pledge program. I'm going to say, we need to all step up with yes.
Do you have a plan to inform the people that aren't here? There aren't very many people.
We're going to talk about it on Sundays within the pledge program. I trust we're going to talk with the success. Definitely individuals that we have known that might be able to help us that we've had personal conversations with. And that's by no means everybody. But we got you first, and we hear about it on Sunday. You'll hear about an annual meeting. We will keep sharing it as much as we can. So, yes.
What's the deadline? When do we need to have the 20,000?
Thank you. What we must have within our operational expenses is by the end of December 31st. What's nice is that it's starting to come in a little bit, which kind of spreads it all out. So when the audit comes, it just doesn't all show up in the last week of December, which I'm sure is okay, but it's just a little more comfortable to have it showing up within the contributions of it's part of the bond. So, yes.
To the question about how we're going to let people know, Tim's videoing this whole thing. It'll be on the website. And so if anybody comes to you and says, I never heard it there, Seaside, blah, blah, sometimes we hear that. This will be on the website, everything Christian's saying, everything the rest of us is saying. So you can just direct them there, and they can get this information.
Okay, anything else? Yes?
I also want to let you know, our primary focus has been on this, to have this pretty much completed by October 14th, which is the beginning of our pledge program. Not to drag this out for a long period of time, because it is the everyday operations. This money that we're talking about is over and above our normal giving and our normal contributions, and not affecting our everyday operations. And our pledge program is in October. It's our annual program, which we do once a year to let people know where we're at, what we're doing. Is our everyday operations and keeping the church going, and all the programs and ministries and all the things that we're doing. So we're hoping to have our commitments done by the 14th, so that we can focus on everyday living and growing and prospering in our normal everyday way.
Yeah, and with that said, we still need the $600,000 in contributions for 2012 for this whole bond equation to work. So it is up over and above. So, okay. Anything else? Then your board president, Trudy McGrath.
Thank you. First off, I want to say hello to you, and I want to introduce your fabulous board. We have here Mr. Bill Siemens.
Yay!
We have Robin Mitchell. We have Joanne Wolf. Stand up there, Joanne. How are you? And where's Cindy?
Right there.
We have Cindy, who did a charming job on our donated bonds. We also have someone missing today, And really, she was the instigator of what my conversation is going to be about with you, because Helen Lipka brought to our attention, because she loves Seaside, she believes in Seaside, and it's a passion, as it is with all of us, I'm sure, because we have such benefit from it. As Robin Mitchell said at one of our retreats, Seaside just plain changes lives. They do. So with that in mind, Helen's changing our life at Seaside in a very profound way. And we have this disconnect. Marv is here, over there, and we're going to change out our slide. Mr. Mark. Okay. What Helen does, and she owns a multi-million-dollar business where she strives and helps major businesses, corporations, and government leads them in a really strategical way to build their infrastructure, to make it work. And she uses lots of different ways and strategies to do that. She came to us and said, I'm willing to give my time and my energy, which has been tremendous, and help you, Seaside, learn strategies that any major business, and that's what we are. I mean, we are loved, we are enriched by being here, but we are a business too. And she's decided to give those tools to us and help us learn how to do it. She said we needed a transformation for Seaside. Well, we're good already, but we can be greater and phenomenal. We have in our little emails going back and forth with our trustees, Christian will announce, we just had somebody sign up for membership. And we say, we are hot, we are sizzling. And so we are sizzling all the time because we're transforming. The strategic management plan that envisions Seaside's best future, that's what we're adopting, and that's how she started us out. In order to really foster cultural changes and growth, we needed a balanced approach to the improvements that we were going to make with these systems. What she had to offer was, the beginning was going out and asking what those in our community believe are important in our home. One of the first things we did as a beginning was to create, we're on the next slide, Marv. Next slide. The first thing we did, we really examined the mission statement and the values, because that's the basis for us all to move forward with. After we did that, we then were ready to go to our community and ask specific questions on how you're feeling about Seaside. Thanks to Andy Powell, who had also worked with a system called Appreciative Inquiry, which was perhaps a softer way than asking a general how he can change the U.S. troops. It promoted a different system for us to go to our members and ask questions about what you really think. And a lot of it was purely and simply, yes, we can grumble and you have every right to grumble, but let's look at the things that are really working, really changing and making a difference. And I have to thank our questionnaires. There's Val Rodriguez, Jackie Tipple, Jan Hartman, Miriam Mitchell, Dave Kennedy, Elizabeth Burmeister, Andy, and Helen. We all went out and grabbed as many as possible and ended up that there were 50 interviews. With that information, then we went back to, next slide please. We went back to having Helen do her magic. And her magic is gathering data, putting it into categories, and really chewing it up and trying to understand what it all means to us. And what it really meant to us was that our membership, those people that care and love Seaside, they want to see Seaside as their family. They want to see Seaside as listening to them. They want to see Seaside as thriving, and they want to see Seaside as service. service to each other, service to our city, service to the world. Those were the main threads of information that Helen gleaned from all this data that was produced for her to gather up information to move forward. With that, we were charged to find ways to start seeing Seaside as a family. It's interesting that energy just begets energy, as you know. And we start chewing on it, we started working on it, and all of a sudden, Debbie McDonald is like going crazy with youth and family. I mean, you heard Christian say we had such a large attendance. It's changing, it's moving forward, it's really thriving. Our young evening program, our young adults evening program, we're going to have a preschool in the next couple weeks for kids 2 and under. We're creating situations where we become in relationship with one another. And when we can stop and do that, we become love and we become service. The new membership program was another thing that it was clear to us we weren't really serving those people that had the vision of coming to Seaside, but capturing them and keeping them here. And so we have Elliot, last name?
Elliot Turo, and Andy Powell is also involved, and of course Reverend Lori and myself all forming a new membership committee that will be working on a far more expanded, intentional process to bring people into our community and get them past the front door in the family room and involved and active and loved. Loved up, as we say around here.
And with so doing, Helen is keeping us in a strategy of being accountable. Yes, we say, okay, we're going to create this plan to increase our membership. She's back there behind us saying, I want to see some records that you've done this, done that, done whatever. It's a little different than hoping and praying. Not that we don't like that, Tammy. But it's also being accountable for the statements and the decisions we've made to move forward. So that's a very exciting thing. You know, we're going to have all these wonderful sacred circles. That's another opportunity to gain relationship with our fellow Seaside people. Okay, next one. Seaside is listening. That's really a big one. I mean, I think we're here because we want to tell you and you want to hear. We want to be able to tell what needs to be told about what's going on with Seaside. We have we've done very well with Ed Cox helping us with our website, and all of a sudden we have this wonderful new member, Nick Pierce. He's going to help increase and magnify all the benefits of what internet and website presence can be for us. And they're working on it now. Again, Nick is a professional in that field, and he's offering this to us at no cost. We also have other methods to make sure, and that was a question that somebody had. How are people going to find out about it? We're going to try and make sure we're as informative as possible. One thing, we started our Inside Seaside newsletter again. Marv Goldsmith, who is back here doing the slides, is masterful at that. So we have an absolute strategy of communication to improve it, and Helen is going to be back there making us accountable to make sure it continues as we've decided strategically to face it. Next slide. Well, there's more about that, and as you see, I know. Bill, talk about testimonials, because that's really important.
Actually, a lot of you probably have heard about this book called Not Your Parents' Offering Plate. And Christian's been talking about that book around here for quite a while. And so we've bought copies of that book for everybody on the board, everybody on the development committee, a number of the practitioner corps, I think, all got that book. And we're really focusing on this book. And what this fellow says, Christopher is his name, what he says in that book is that churches have to be real clear on what they are all about and what they need to be all about. And clearly, what we're all about is changing lives and making sure that we share those stories, because we bump into testimonials all the time, but we need to share that story more. So we're developing a new team that will be producing testimonials around here, and our goal is 1 per week at each service. But they'll also be on the website, and they'll be up here in the family room, and Colleen Turner right here is going to be on that team, as well as a brand new member that's going to be joining the church in the next new member thing, by a fantastic lady by the name of Gail Terrell. And so testimonials are going to be things that we're going to be looking for, or if you hear a great one, hey Colleen, why don't you stand up? If you hear about a great testimonial, you'll see Colleen, just say, hey, go see Colleen, and I'll introduce Gail to everybody.
Next. So we know that we're listening. We know there was one example, for instance, your foundations class. Christian has a phenomenal foundations class. I mean, you have friends forever once you're in foundations. Nick's going to create a mode of communication that group can support and talk to each other via website, via internet. All these kinds of things are going to happen. Our wonderful Cindy Dietz, when she did Gourmet for Gods, I mean, we had 14 million pieces of paper running around here. We weren't sure by the end of the time whether we'd gotten the Gourmet for God or we didn't get the Gourmet for God. We're going to be on a website where we're going to know exactly what's going on all the time. And that will only make it better for us because we will be even in a more intimate environment to really communicate as a community together. Next slide. Seaside is serving. That was a resoundingly continuous comment from those people that were interviewed, and people all the time. You know, we're lucky. I mean, we are so lucky we found this community, but we have a responsibility to serve each other and to serve our community at large, and that means focusing out into the world. We need to tell, by the way, at Seaside, that we tithe 10% of everything we get. No matter what, how skinny we might be, and July 14th at some whatever, we still make sure that we give out to our community and continue giving to others. That will continue and be magnified even at a more dramatic level.
Tammy, can you tell us that number? Because I don't want to get it wrong. That huge tithing number over the years that we've come to with our cumulative tithing.
You know, I can't remember exactly either, but it was just shy of $800,000 that we've tithed just in the last, that's not even since the inception of Seaside Center, the last 12 years or 15 years.
You know, when we say that we're making a difference in the community, you hear it all the time. That's real money. That's a lot of money that has been going out into the community in a lot of ways. So this is important that you guys hear this.
Another part of it, sometimes we've been hearing too, I had no idea. And that's part of Seaside listening. Seaside communicating to you all the things that are going on. And there's a lot of people that are giving, but a lot of people that want to give and don't know where to start. Well, come to somebody with a sash on, and we'll direct you in the right direction. Bill and Cindy decided we were going to start wearing these things so that we could be more present as a board. And it's really been a good idea because it does make you aware that we are 6 people that love each other to death and are working really hard to make a difference for you all. I have one more page here. You know, by the way, Helen created this whole presentation. She's fabulous. Say hello to her in Indianapolis. Yeah. And my last section is Seaside is thriving. Every single day we're thriving. We are so proud that we've done so well with this $70,000. We're easily, you know, like Candace says, it'll probably end up $120,000. That's okay. We are thriving. And we are thriving because we realize that we make a difference in this world. We will, hopefully, this is our goal. We want 10% increase in the number of pledges this next time. We need that. We have to prove to that bond committee that we are ace. We are on track and we're moving forward. We have to have 10% increase in the average amount of the pledge. And we, again, know that we're asking because we know that people need to be asked sometimes, and so go for it. And then Christian has us at 1,000 membership. We're going to be having an average attendance of 1,000 people in 2014. And that's all going to happen because the law of attraction is here, and we are attracting phenomenal people in our world. And I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Bill, and he's going to move forward with some further points.
You got to give it up for Trudy because this is not easy things for her to do. So I don't have any slides. My slides didn't make it. So I'm going to kind of be faking it with paper slides here. But, before I get started, I just got to say, what a fabulous service we had today. And what fantastic music that we had today. As you sit there and you say, do you have enough love in your life? And could you use a whole bunch more? And I tell you, there's a very simple way to get a whole bunch more love in your life. And that's to get involved here. And get to touch other people and let them touch you. I mean, it explodes. And when Trudy talks about, or I think Helen got up, we had a meeting with the practitioners, and Helen got up and said, we're the board and we've all fallen in love with each other. And I thought, people don't talk like that, but it's the truth. It's the truth, but we've also fallen in love with all the ministers and all the practitioners and everybody like Rick back there who busts his hump, to make the gardens beautiful. And everybody involved here that does so much. It's not just about the board, but the board is a group of people that have taken a lot of time away from their businesses and their other things to be dedicated to just get involved in this wave of recreation. And we certainly have a lot more fun when a lot more people jump in. And as you notice, we've already had people jumping in. We've got new people. We've got people volunteering for things that aren't even members yet. They'll be joining in the next thing. So more love equals just a little bit more involvement. And I just invite you to take it up a notch or to jump in, because it's just amazing what happens. So I'm here to talk about the board's platform. And of course, we've got 3 points on here, and that's the focus of the board. As soon as we really got into the issue about the bond drive, we've been completely focused on that. And I got to tell you that the board and so many of the community just, had to take a look at what our commitment is and what's the value of this community. And where else do you go on Sunday and feel higher than a kite when you leave, right? So there's just, it wasn't 10 seconds of thought before we said, let's go for it. And the board came up with their contributions, and Helen and so many people organized a whole campaign that's been going on. Many of you have been involved with. A lot of that takes a lot of behind the scenes work. And Christian has knocked himself out for you guys, for us. Thank you, Christian. So I want you to know that's doing great, and we're going to exceed that 100,000. The board sat there and we said we just know it's happening, and it's showing up that way. And please take us over the top, because this is a legacy forever. This we're talking about forever, and we're talking about the next generation. How great to turn them over a fully paid church that they can create even greater miracles. What better way? What could you do better with your life, right? Anyway, expand our spiritual footprint. So we're all about expanding and engaging our membership. This is a big, big thing for the board. And we're going to really be focusing. We've got a lot of momentum about this. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in just a second. But it's really about the fact that the days of the past are gone. The financial struggles that the whole economy had are gone. And we're about creation and recreation, and it's fun. And there's energy going like crazy. So just get involved, get swept up in that river, because it's just gushing. So we're going to be talking a lot about expanding membership. We have a new membership committee coming together. Testimonials are going to be happening, and you're going to see all kinds of other initiatives. We're also going to be talking more about what it is to be a member of a community like this. I've talked about this in a minute. So I think Trudy already talked about our goal is 1,000 people coming through here on a Sunday. And that can't happen without you. with all of us. Our commitment as a board is more effective communication, and it's easy to hear people around here come up with great ideas or to say what they haven't heard or this or that, but we'll keep trying every way we can to communicate. And that's, again, the reason why these white sashes. If you've got a question or an idea or a suggestion to make things better, we're trying to make it as easy as we can for you to find us. And anybody else, any of the ministers, anybody, we're wide open. Openness and transparency, the next thing, we've already been talking about that. And we're doing everything we can to offer more opportunities to lead and serve, but we're wide open to your ideas and your creativity as well. We're here to support that. So, part of another new team that's come together all around this whole financial challenge or financial adventure with Seaside is what we call the development team. And this is a team that came together almost instantly when we found out that we had an opportunity to secure our house, our home for the future. And I'd like to introduce any of the development committee members here. I saw Joan. Yeah, Joan right here. Joan's on the committee. They got to see you, Joan, so they can come up and give you money. Yeah. There's Joan. There's Stella, who's not here. Joanne. There's Joanne back in the back, as you know. Yeah. Elizabeth and George Baumeister is part of that committee. I'm part of that committee. Trudy has made all the meetings. She's part of that committee, whether she likes it or not. And anyway, this committee's been meeting weekly, just about weekly. And the blessing is that two of the members, Joanne being one and Stella being the other, are professional fundraisers with huge experience, huge resumes. I mean, this committee is so blessed with who we attract. And so, we're not only about creating the 100,000, but we're way past that. We're talking about how to create all kinds of wonderful things for the future, like endowments and like all kinds of ways to make this a more financially secure home for the future. And we've got unbelievable commitment and input from these unbelievable people. So talking about things like financially supporting Seaside's sustainability and our growth, back to increasing membership again. And we're also a new thing that's come out with the help of Joan and Stella especially, is that we're stepping into recognizing those of you who really donate a lot to the church. And we have quite a few people that really do a lot to support this church. And we're stepping out to recognize them and recognize all of you who donate at different levels and being really intentional about this. So these are some of the things the development team is doing. Switch slides. There we go. But I wanted to share with you one of the things we found out when we really started looking at the donor base, and this is something we wanted to share with all of you. In this book that we talked about, Christopher's Not Your Parents' Offering, but he talks about a concept that's not about Seaside, but it's true in a lot of churches. We have a bit of the profile here at Seaside, and it's called, he uses the term spiritual welfare people. And what happens in this church thing is that oftentimes we have 20 or 25% of the people paying all the expenses, and 75 or 80% of the people coming to church every Sunday and not really paying very much. And sometimes in a church setting, it's a little difficult to talk about money. But this place has financial obligations. This is a wonderful community, but it has financial obligations. And what we want to start doing is talking about money. Because, again, this community lives on everyone's support. And so I just wanted to kind of share a profile with you. In our community, this is on an annual basis, we had 6 people give greater than $10,000 a year. We had 16 people give between $5K and $10K a year. We have 58 people that gave somewhere between $1,500 and $5,000 for the year. And we had 262 people give between $100 and $1,500. So of course, we thank you. And we also thank where that giving comes from, and we recognize people are all here coming from different places. And we absolutely respect where everybody comes from. And we're so grateful. And I just want to share with you that if you take the church's expenses and you divide it by the people that flow through here on a Sunday, it costs about $30 per seat in here just to run the place. That's just break even, guys. That's break even. $30. And if I were to extend that out a year, that comes out to a little over $1,500 on an annual basis. And so of those people, that's only 342 people that really got on record for giving in almost anything. So you can see that we need to step it up. I mean, when I first came to church, and the basket gets passed, I'd think, well, hey, today I'll do a 5. Or I'll do a 20 today because Christian was particularly good. Or the singing was really great, so I'll maybe bump it up 25. It's important for everybody to know that, of course, everybody's welcome here. But for those of us who join this church, we certainly want to host and spread this wonderful philosophy with everybody. We want to make the doors open. But while doing that, we're going to keep the doors open. And so, please think about that. And when you talk to other people in the church, it's important. Money is God in action. We know that. God's a source of supply. We know that. Like Christian was saying today, what do we got to get out of the way to let that flow go? What do we got to let go of? And part of what we got to let go of is spending a lot of time wrapping up a $1 bill and putting it in the collection plate. We got to let go of that. And we got to, if all of us just took it up a little bit every month, and if the opportunity comes from the pledge program, we could go a long way with everybody recognizing that this wonderful miracle that we call Seaside needs your support. Yeah. Really needs your support. So I want to share that with you. I want to share it in the context of love and gratitude. Because, what we're doing now is fabulous. What we want to do is be more responsible and more transparent. We want to share that with you. Please share it with the rest of the congregation. I think I have another slide. Oh, yeah. So, this is the best part. In summary, we want to communicate clearly where we are as a community. And that's what we're trying to do here today with you. Notice that, you can ask Christian anything, you can ask the board anything. This is your community. We're just here working with you, for you, but it's your community, it's our community. We're going to be as transparent as possible. We want to empower you with knowledge. These are Helen's, by the way. But empowering you with knowledge is an amazing thing, because now that you know this, there's a sacred invitation to do something about it. And all of you are so powerful, and all of you have so much to give. And for those of you that are having a difficulty to give, guess what? It's wonderful. The ministers are giving free talks on prosperity starting October 14th on Thursdays. These are free. And for those that are struggling to give, we love you. Come to those. Let's change your thoughts, change your life. You're in a loving, supportive environment for that. So we want everybody to be prosperous. And we have classes starting October 14th to speak directly to that. We want to invite you to join us in leading Seaside, because we know that every one of you are powerful. We're all powerful beyond our biggest belief, right? So to get to that 1,000, we need all of your creativity. We need all of your effort. We need all of your heart. And we're just waiting for it. So come forward. Find a place to serve the community. Create your own. Or jump on board. Remember, this thing about love just magnifies when you get to touch other people and they get to touch you. Engage in the programs, services, and educational offerings. Why? Because we want to celebrate Seaside. Thank you very much. Rick's got a question?
I've got a question question. It's just something that speaking about community and love and beauty and all the stuff that Seaside is, right out of the blue, I just wanted everybody to know we were voted by the North County Times as the #1 place to have a wedding in North County.
Number one.
That was the People's Choice Award. Now, Seaside got that. Now, all we need to do is let 2 or 3 of our friends know that. And this is the place to come to have a wedding. And Linda and Joanne in the office, just let them know, and this is the place to do it.
Right on, Rick. You know what? Where's Robin? Robin Mitchell and Karen Koblenz. Anybody that touched the paper program. And those of you who contributed in the paper program, that all went to that award. And for people like Rick and Jonathan and people that tend the flowers and the plants, that all went to that award. Amazing. You know, it's a community that gets it done. None of us can do this by ourselves.
I'm going to go. Christian, you're our leader. Yeah. Would you like to pray us out? Or would you have any parting words? Not parting.
You realize he's your treasurer. I don't know.
Take his job seriously.
This is your president. Yes. And Joanne, were you acknowledged as part of the board?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
That's probably one of the more courageous people on the board, I would say.
That's it. So, any questions from anyone here before we wrap things up here? Yes.
I have 3 things.
Yes.
First, I've noticed the last 4 years that I've gone to the Christmas service, there are no donation envelopes. And for those of us who are feeling particularly generous and would like that tax deduction, we have to go to you personally, put it in your pocket. So I really think there should be a donation envelope so people can get the deduction that they want the last week before Christmas. I think you'll find a higher donation if you let people be accountable to that. Number 2, there's a lot of us that don't have cash, but we have a ton of valuable stuff in our house that could be turned into cash, and I think we should create an eBay committee where somebody would take the photographs, which I would be willing to do, and if I had a partner, we could list your stuff, whatever it sells for, that would be your donation, and all the proceeds would go to you. Today, I'm sure we could raise $100,000 just with that one idea.
Who wants to partner with Wendy? There you go. You got two arms right there. So.
And the third thing is I'd be willing to give $100 if everybody else would match it if Christian would cut his hair today. Said you'd be willing to do anything.
I got no deal. Another no deal.
Draw the line.
We draw the line. And this is a serious thing, Christian. This church is about image as well.
Yes. One likes the image.
We're trying to get a broad area of people. And you dress so sharply from the neck down.
Well,
I would like to see a change in the hairstyle at least once a year. And I'm willing to pay for it.
Change your color, change your life. Isn't that the same? Thank you. I will take it into consideration. Yes.
I have to speak up.
Yes.
I want him to change the hair on his head.
All right. I'll tell you what, you get me as I am in the moment, so I appreciate all the input. Thank you.
He's not going to be a blonde, though. Okay.
Aren't I? Anybody else? Other question? Thank you for that. Did you get the names who want to help you with eBay? Because we've got 2 of them right there, Wendy. That's fabulous. Yes?
I've done this about 5 times on my calculator and showed it to somebody else, and I'm astonished by the answer. $2.8 million divided by 320 people is $8,750. If you divide it by 200 people, half of our membership on the rolls, it's 14,000. Wow. And of course, it doesn't all have to be. It's just interesting.
I know. Wow, that's a very doable way of looking at that. And actually, we have 800 members on our roll we just figure there's about 400 that are active here on Sundays, but so you have a understanding. Christina, doctor.
Really quick question. So for the people that want to donate to the extra $25,000, do they put something special on the check? Is there a special place to put
Tell you what, you give me a call, I'll take you out to lunch and you can hand it to me. And I'll make sure it gets to the right spot.
No, I mean for everybody.
Yes, you can write bonds on there.
Okay, so like, because if 200 people give an extra
$8,000 we pay out to.
if they just give an extra $250, we've got our $2,500.
Yes.
Yeah, so
It's very doable. It is. Thank you. Yes. So.
But you want to designate a bond so that people.
Yes.
Sometimes it helps to have a specific way of doing that.
I like that. Yes.
Do we have our choice of lunch places?
You do. All right. You give me a call and we'll find out the perfect spot for you. Somewhere on the beach.
Listen, Trudy especially mentioned Helen Lipka so many times, and you have no idea how much effort and work she's put into all this. Next time you see Helen Lipka, she's about this tall. Give her a hug. Everybody in this community she deserves a hug from everybody.
And before you leave, make sure you hug Trudy. She's got the reins on this ruling crew of individuals that have come together for a time such as this. Yes, Steve.
One suggestion would be, we've talked about recognizing people, as we've been doing in this room today, who have donated a lot of their time and energy to all kinds of things to help our community. I wonder if it might be, we all hate to have announcements take up too much of our Sunday service, but maybe one or two minutes, not that you don't do a wonderful job, you're the best. This is the best part. But, a minute or two to just recognize somebody who is of service.
Extremely valuable.
I don't know how many people know how many hundreds and thousands of hours Mark puts into just creating this slide, let alone showing it.
We'd love to acknowledge more. So by all means, get us the name, and we'd love to find a spot to say thank you.
Oh, one more thing. Seaside's looking for some people in our slides. I forgot to mention it, but we have needs for somebody with a strong marketing background. We have needs for a graphic person, I believe it was, and more needs for the.
Well, I know that we have more needs for the youth and family.
Yeah.
Debbie McDonald is creating a huge action impact on our kids and letting everybody really shine up there at that school. And now we're going to have coverage with the little ones so the moms can get in and listen to Christian's message. And so we need people that would be willing to take maybe once a month, to contact Debbie. Debbie really needs help because we want our kids well cared for. I want my grandchildren to hear this message for time and eternity. And they're here right now, but Debbie does need help watching.
And so just to point out how many volunteers are needed, because I have this one in my head. We have 5 different classes at a service, with the preteens or teens and all different grades. So there's 5 classes, and there's 2 teachers per classroom, because that's just safe and right and appropriate. That's 10 that's needed at one service, which means there's 20 volunteers that are needed on a Sunday morning, times 4 weeks a month. That's 80 volunteers a month that is needed for our youth and family program. If you can volunteer 1 hour, that is a tremendous blessing.
Along that same lines, if anybody comes up to you in Seaside and says, why aren't we doing this? Just ask them how many more people they need on their team.
Just like I did with Wendy. You saw how that works. And 2 people raised their hands right away.
That's how you answer it.
That's it. Who else? Anything else? We're here for you. Call us. We love you. I want to ask the ministerial team to stand and just say these are the wonderful individuals I partner with daily around here at Seaside. And there you've got Dr. Christina, Reverend Catherine, who heads up our whole educational program, Tammy, who definitely has the reins on this place on a day-to-day basis, Rick, bless you for the gardens. Congratulations on that blue ribbon in San Diego, North County wedding place. That is fabulous. Reverend Fran, bless you for the music. It is tremendous. Reverend Lori, Sundays, you get us going every time. It is just wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a team that prays for you consistently. Last group, I want to acknowledge practitioners. Any of the practitioners that are here, please stand. These are the ones that pray for you consistently, continuously. Take the prayer request out of the prayer box. They are seldom seen except once a month at the prayer wall, but daily they pray for you by name, by request, and they hold you in your heart. And with that said, Dr. Christine, you want to pray us out of here?
Why don't we all stand? So we know it'll be short.
Yes, that's why he asked me. So it is with deep, deep, deep gratitude for everything that has been shared, everything that has been revealed, for this amazing, amazing progression of Seaside to its next level of consciousness and its next level of financial stability. I'm just so grateful for this time together, for each person that is shared, for this commitment to allow Seaside to go to its next level and to be financially totally secure. I'm so grateful, and I know that we go out into our lives just blessed by this beautiful space of Seaside, by this loving community that each of us has the honor of being in as we go out and share it with the world. And so it is.
Good job, Grace.